All right, guys. So, welcome to our coaching and cocktail conversation chill sesh for the next hour. We are going to walk you through just what we do as Beachbody coaches. And we're so excited to have you here. You're going to hear from some beautiful ladies tonight. We've got, I'm just going to call you out and you can just wave real quick. So, Laura, she is up there in my top left. So, there's Laura. You're going to hear from her. You're going to hear from Daria tonight. She's right there in the middle. You've got Steph from Canada. She's right there at the top too. And then Nicole, who, funny story, we know each other because our husbands were college roommates. So we have known each other for years and years and years. And we always laugh when they get together because it's like they regress back to the college days, right? So anyways, so guys, tonight we're going to have so much fun and talk to you a little bit about coaching. So I'm going to kick things off. My name is Melanie Mitro, and I am like the grandma coach of all of these wonderful ladies that are a part of our dream team. I started coaching in 2011, actually. May 2nd. So May 2nd was Saturday, was my 9-year anniversary of starting my fitness journey with Beachbody. So that was the day that I stood in my kitchen and I had a flip phone and it didn't have Wi-Fi. And so I had to take my camera, that big old clunky thing. And I remember it was the hutch in the kitchen and I set my camera on that hutch. And then I set the self timer and I took my before photos. And I remember Landon and Bryce were taking a nap. And my coach had said, Melanie, you got to take these before photos. Like you have to document your journey. And so I actually had a piece of like computer paper. And on that piece of computer paper said like May 2nd, 2011. And I was standing holding up that piece of paper in my before photo. And I did all the sides, front, side, back. And after I got done taking those photos, I plugged my camera into the computer. And when those pictures came up, I just melted, absolutely melted. I started crying because the thoughts that went through my mind were, how the heck did you get to where you are today? I was like, how did you let yourself go? What happened to you? I used to have an awesome body. I had perky boobs. I had some nice abs. None of that. I was still wearing maternity clothes. And it was 6 months after I had my second. I had about 30 pounds that I couldn't get rid of. And my husband and I had decided that I was going to stay home. And that was something that I really wanted. It was part of our plan as we talked about starting a family and what our future was going to look like. I really wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And so we planned for that. We saved for that. We cut corners. We made all the sacrifices that we needed to make. And so here I was at home with my two boys. We were living in our townhouse in Mars, Pennsylvania, kind of a small townhouse at that time. And I was living the dream that I had dreamt up for my life, although it didn't quite feel like a dream. I was struggling. I was emotionally struggling. And I'm very much the kind of person that I feel confident in my clothes. When I put my clothes on and I look in the mirror and I go, ooh, you look good. Like that's where my confidence comes from. And so I didn't feel good. I felt awful. I was wearing Spanx underneath of all of my clothes. I had horrible stretch marks. I had a terrible separation and a hernia. And I was really struggling with my identity, my body confidence. And that was really affecting all of the different areas of my life. And I couldn't get the weight off. I was eating 100-calorie packs and smart ones and, drinking diet soda instead of regular soda. I don't know if any of you kind of had that dieter mindset, but it wasn't working. And so I sort of hit rock bottom. And that's where I made a post on Facebook about eating celery and trying to lose weight. And that was the connector that brought my coach into my life. She reached out after seeing that post and said, I think I can help you. And so when she messaged me, I did what many of you did when your coach invited you. I just creeped on her page, right? I went through all of her photos. I scrolled, I read, I was like, is she legit? And this is the beauty of social media, is from afar, I didn't really know her, but she was telling a story, and her story was, I connected with her story. The mom of two, the struggling to lose the baby weight. She was sharing her transformation. She had done P90X from start to finish, and I could follow her journey through her social media. And she was talking about her nutrition. She was shouting out her challengers that were getting results. And I was like, I'm in. I was the easiest sign up of life. Signed up and I never looked back. And 60 days into my journey, I'd lost 11 pounds with Insanity. And my coach invited me at least 6 or 7 times to become a coach before I said yes. So she kept messaging me and saying, Melanie, I think you would be really good at this. And I was like, no, I'm good here. Like, I'm fine. And she kept going, you'd be really good at this. And I was in that challenge group. I was participating. I was adding value. I was, sharing recipes, and I was changing. I was finding like connection and friendship through those groups. And I was sending her referrals. So she was getting new customers because I was sending people to her because I was talking about it. And so she goes, will you meet me for coffee? And so we met for coffee, and she brought this binder with her of everything about, coaching. And I remember coming home and saying to my husband, I'm going to sign up to become a coach. And he was like, no, you're not. That is a scam. That is a ripoff. That is like those kinds of businesses. They don't work. You'll never be successful at that. And if you want to get a job, we'll put the kids in daycare and you can get a real job. And so most people would be deflated by that, but I was like, man, I will show you. Right. And so I ended up just saving up my money that I got for my birthday. And I signed up to become a coach in July of 2011. And I started a blog. So blogging was really big in 2011. So I don't feel like you have to have a blog today. But that was what I did. I started blogging my transformation. I started blogging my weekly meal plans, my grocery shopping. I loved clean eating. That was definitely kind of my slight edge, was nutrition. And the old Melanie, before Matt left his job, I cooked all the time. I was always cooking and making new recipes and things. That's not my jam now. But that was kind of my slight edge. And that's where I got started with the business. And guys, I had less than 75 friends on Facebook. So I didn't have a big following. I had never posted a selfie of myself in my life. I didn't have a fancy camera to take pictures with. I had an old Dell laptop computer that plugged into the wall, and we were broke as a joke. But I was so determined because I saw what was possible, because I started to get on these calls and I started to get training and surround myself with people in the business and learn more about what coaching was all about. And I started to see people that were, they were paying for their family vacation with their Beachbody money. They were paying down their debt. They were buying new homes. They were talking about how different their life was. And for me, that was all I needed to see. And that was kind of the catapult for me that made me go all in with the business. And I would work early mornings and I would stay up late, or I would work during nap times. And I took my business from this tiny little 75 friends on Facebook to becoming the top Beachbody coach in Beachbody. And I've been in the top 10 for the past 7 years, I think is what it is. And so my husband now is a crazy believer. We also do the business together. So he is my business partner in all of this. He left his job. It'll be 4 years ago. It was 4 years ago, like this past month, that we have been home together. And the coolest thing was him saying, he's like, I don't care if my friends make fun of me because I get to put my kids on the bus. I get to be there to drop my kids off at daycare or at preschool. I get to pick my kids up from kindergarten. Like, he's like, I get to do the field trips and the things that I would have never gotten to do as a dad working in corporate. And so we kind of look back at, the past 9 years that we've done this business. And while it's the craziest thing that I'd ever done, having an undergrad in psychology and a master's in special education, it literally has changed our life. It has brought all of these amazing ladies you're going to hear from tonight into my life. And I'm so incredibly grateful for the connections and the transformations. And I will say, the biggest thing that keeps me going is knowing that I have an opportunity to make a transformation in somebody else's life. That by my support, by me pouring into other people, by showing up, by never giving up on people, by always being there for them, that there could be one day, just one day, everything could click and their life would be drastically different. And I love that feeling of knowing that I'm getting paid to do something that positively impacts other people's lives. And I love that. All right. So I am passing it over to Steph, right? I'm passing it over to Steph.
And no matter how many No matter how many times I hear you tell that story, like it just gives me goosebumps because I love hearing how people start off in this business because we all come from such unique backgrounds. Myself, for example, my coaching journey started about 4 years ago. My husband and I had welcomed our son into our family, and everything was super great and, fairly low key until he was 8 months old and we found out we were pregnant with twins. So if you do the math, that means we had 3 babies in less than a year and a half. And to say that our lives changed was like the biggest understatement of the year. Like I didn't even recognize a single aspect of my life anymore. I felt lost. I had lost my identity. I had these perfect little babies at home, but I was just suffering from some pretty severe postpartum. So my journey started when my husband and I decided, you know what, I need a 30-minute break in my day to just come down into this basement and be alone and just breathe for 30 minutes. And that turned into me exercising. And that's where I actually found Beachbody. I started doing the T25 program. I saw that Stephanie is doing it currently. It's still one of my favorites. So I would come downstairs and I would just be alone for 30 minutes and I would do my workout and I would go upstairs and be such a better mom and wife and sister and friend because of it. And what ended up happening is I created this habit that really turned into almost like an obsession, and I just loved it so much. I got incredible results. I ended up losing like 80 pounds in the first 9 months since my twins were born. And when you see someone who has newborn twins in each arm and they've lost a crap load of weight, like everybody just wanted to know the secret, right? So I just organically started sharing my story with anybody who would listen. I was, as Melanie said, I was referring all of my friends to my coach because I was like, you need to get in on this action. This group is amazing. It's literally changed and saved my life. To the point where one day I was like, well, wait a minute. I think that I've got something here. I think that I can help other people feel the way that I feel. And that's when the business aspect really came into play for me. I went fearlessly in and I started inviting people to come on this journey with me. And I have never, ever looked back. I mean, the way I think about it now is I really think about it as my duty and my responsibility to share this with other people because of how much of an impact it made in not only my life, but for my whole family's life now. And so I think about it this way. I think if I had a best friend who, I tell this story all the time, if I had a best friend who had discovered the best hair straightener and it was just inexpensive and it was fast and it worked amazing and it was just like a time saver, and she didn't tell me about that amazing product, I would be so pissed at her. I would be upset that she didn't share it with me. So that's really the way that I go into my business is I just share the word of what I'm doing and how it's working for me. And I've helped so many people get started on their journey as well. And let me tell you, when you get a message like Mel said back saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much you've changed my life, like that, you can't even put that into words. I literally screenshot them all and save them in my phone because those messages are just like gold. So that's a bit about how I got started, but it wasn't just smooth sailing right from the get-go. I've got to tell you that I had a lot of hesitations, as I'm sure all of you guys do, when you're considering this type of business and starting your own business type of thing. And I kind of broke down 5 of those most common hesitations I wanted to share with you. The first one that I had, and which I'm sure everybody has, is kind of the fear of the cost, right? What's it going to cost? How am I going to get involved? And is there going to be a big overhead? And the very short answer, which I know someone's going to cover later on, is no. If you're brand new to this community, the Beachbody community, there's actually, you get your coach sign up fee waived, you guys. Like they literally say, here, start a business for free. So that was just such an amazing thing to learn because I was already using the products. So to be able to start my coaching business and have the coaching fee waived for that first month was huge for me. The second hesitation, which so many people have, and Mel touched on this as well, is I don't have a big following. Like, I don't post anything to my social media. If you look back to 2015, all I had was like pictures of my babies, like never a picture of me. And the nice thing about this is that we get so much training, which the person after me is going to talk to you about how to grow your following and how to grow your following in an authentic and organic way that feels good for you and it feels good for the followers. So that was something that was really reassuring to me as well. The biggest regret that I get, I can hands down say, is I'm not at my goal weight yet. I'm not at my goal weight yet. So how could I be a coach for other people? And I am here to tell you that you can grow a big business while you are on your own personal journey. And I am living proof of that. My weight has gone up and down over the years because none of us are immune to, life. But I can honestly tell you that my business has done the best when I have been in those periods where my weight has fluctuated. And it's because people can relate to you. People can relate to you and they know that you can relate to them and you can understand their struggles. So that is a huge thing for me. I connect with so many women that way. Being someone who's plus size and running a fitness business, it's actually working to my advantage as opposed to the other way around, which a lot of people would think. 2 more points. Big hesitation is I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to sell to people. And you know what? Don't sell to people then. We will show you how to connect authentically with people, how to build relationships so that the invitation just becomes so natural. And there are so many ways that we will walk you through on how to make those connections that you will never have to feel salesy or icky. I promise you that. And then the very last limitation or hesitation that people have is, oh my gosh, I'm already so busy. How would I add anything else to my plate? And let me tell you, I totally can relate to this. We are now living in this like twilight zone where we don't even recognize our lives and we're home and we're quarantined and all of this, and everyone has so much on their plates. This business is so well laid out for us. We actually are given tasks to do every day. It makes it very simple to follow. Daria, who I'm going to throw it to in just a sec here, is going to talk about kind of the trainings that we get and how we are taught to really focus on business building activities every day. And you can build a successful business in 1 to 2 hours a day. If you put your head down, one of my favorite, sayings that Melanie always says, head down, blinders on, and work, and you can make it happen in a very small amount of time. So I hope that addressing some of those hesitations, some of those limiting beliefs has helped some of you. Please, if you have any other, hesitations, please drop them in the comments. We will try to jump back to them around at the end. If you have anything that's holding you back, questions that you want to go over, drop them in the chat and we would love to hear from you. All right, so I'm going to throw it over to Daria. She's going to talk about her story as well.
Okay, can you hear me? Yep. All right, there we go. All right, thank you. All right, hi, I'm Daria Nettleton, and I actually have been, this is my 6th year coaching. So I live on the shoreline of Connecticut, and I have a couple of kids. I have a 12 and a 15-year-old. We actually live on a 10-acre farm. So I have a couple of horses and 4 goats and chickens, and we've got roughly 30 animals here. So we're busy all the time, but coaching and my team Fit Mission has been just amazing. And Melanie is my upline coach, and it's just been positively transforming for my life and my career, which I'm going to tell you a little bit about. So I actually started out as a leader in HR, specializing in mergers and acquisitions in biotech. And I did that for a number of years, for roughly 23 years. And I started out in my career, like many of us, you start out in one position and then you sort of like move it along. And I was a leader, and I was also building leaders, creating managers, helping people with their teams. And it was just a really amazing position. It was really great to train new managers coming up in these companies. And it was amazing. But as time went on and as business changed, mergers and acquisitions, downsizing became a thing. And because I was extremely organized and deeply empathetic, I ended up in a position where I was doing tons of layoffs. So just laying people off and ending their career became my specialty. And that was just really difficult. I mean, as you can imagine, and many hours of working, doing something like that, 16-hour days. Like, I literally didn't see my kids for 2 years. So my husband was like a single dad and I was exhausted. So my health and fitness was like literally on the back burner. And the thing that actually stopped for me was when my best friend died. So at age 34, my best friend was diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer. And by 36, she passed. And that was like this massive wake up call for me because I just didn't know what to do. I was so used to managing everybody else's emergencies that I didn't know how to handle this for myself. And I didn't know how to deal with the grief. So I started to run. And I started to run so much that I actually entered the New York City Half Marathon and I ran it and I completed it. And I was super proud of myself. And I ended with like a lot of injuries because I doubt I was training in a way that I should have trained, right? And I also didn't look much different at the end of that training than the way that I ended up, which was super disappointing for me. So I thought, you know what, I have to, especially after losing somebody like that, I knew I had to pour into myself in my health and fitness. But how was I going to do that? Like working 16-hour days, coming home, barely seeing my kids at 10 o'clock at night. And I started looking around because we had a dusty ass copy of P90X sitting around that we had attempted like years earlier. And I just remember how brutal it was. And I started looking online, and that's actually when I found my coach, because I didn't know that they did things like challenge groups. And to be honest, when I had my kids, like there wasn't even a Facebook. I'm totally like dating myself, but there like was not even like a Facebook. So I found that there was these challenge groups, and my coach was there, and she was like a mom with a degree, raising a family. She was like this crazy dynamo, up at crazy hours of the morning and at night. And I'm like, this girl has so much energy. Like, I have got to be in this challenge group. So she said I could join with my dusty ass copy of P90X, but I had to buy her shake. So I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I've literally tried everything. And, you know, if she's telling me this is going to work and she like looks the way she does, I'm doing it. So I did it. I joined this challenge group. I did my workouts, I checked in. I actually was learning the nutrition part that I had like no clue about, because she was like sharing everything that she was doing. She shared her struggles. She shared how hard it was like to get up in the morning and like what she was doing. And I'm like, oh my God, it actually was real help. So from like real people. So I just absolutely loved it. And I have to tell you that, you know, being part of that challenge group, cheering each other on after those long days at work, like that were just misery, was like the bright spot in my day. And people at work were like noticing this change in me, and they wanted to know what I was doing. And it was like, I was naturally talking about it. It wasn't like I had to like work at this. So Melanie started asking me if I wanted to try this coaching opportunity. And I honestly put it off for like 6 months. Like I was not, I just felt like too overwhelmed. I had so much going on. I just felt, and I wasn't like completely confident in myself. But then, you lose 40 pounds and you get some confidence. And I was like, whoa, I'm like, this is crazy. And I'm like, how can I not, I was actually like telling people about it and pushing them to Melanie. And Melanie's like, what are you doing? She's like, you really need to be like, I was, doing all the activities and the actions in the challenge group. I was encouraging my other people in the group. I was like totally enjoying it. Like, why couldn't I do this? So I finally did. I pulled the trigger, I joined, and I have to be honest, like I have done like so much corporate leadership training. I've done so much management training. I've seen so much training. The training that I received like in Beachbody, it was community oriented. It was just like those challenge groups. You had people helping you, people trying, they want you to succeed. I mean, we all like work together. Like, even though we're individuals, we help and support each other. I'm jumping ahead here, but I have to, because my friends, and I see many of them on this call right now, they are my friends. Like, for over the past 6 years, they've been like my lifetime support, like not just through Beachbody, but through like life stuff. And, you know, just as Steph was saying, like, it's a journey, you know, it's like, I lost 40 pounds, I gained some back, I broke an ankle, I did this, I did that. Like, you kind of like, it's life. Like, it is so totally a journey and not a destination. But I had staying power. I literally was a serial quitter that now didn't quit. And I wasn't going to quit on, and coaching for me actually gave me that accountability, that I was going to show up for my challengers. I was showing up for myself. I was going to make it happen. I was like putting more of these accountabilities in front of myself that actually made me feel amazing. And I was like, I want more of this. And I want to be home with my family and with my kids. And I want to build my own team and help them to see that this is a real thing. So, you know, on top of that, we do have trainings, we have team calls every week. My coach is right there in lockstep with me. As fast as I want to move and grow my business, my coach is there, and your coach would be there for you too. And so through all these seasons of life, my coach has been there for me, as I grew my business and as things changed. And I will tell you about that career that I have, that leaving corporate. I left my 6-figure job after 23 years in corporate. And I left it because my husband and I were going to buy an asphalt paving business. It was his dream to buy a construction company. My Beachbody business bridged us. I was able to leave 2 years earlier than we planned, because then we forecasted for me to leave my corporate job so I could be home with the kids and I could help him as we built and were able to purchase this other business. And now I get to be here. I get to be here for my farm. I get to be here for my kids. I have that freedom. I mean, that was like the most amazing thing, to be able to walk in and just say, I'm done with this. And because I had this ability with this company, and I took advantage of the opportunity. Like, I mean, the opportunity is there. You just have to take advantage of it. I was able to build a future and build what I always say it was my plan B, but it's like my plan C, because where you begin, you never know where you end, right? So it's like, I kind of like have this funny way of doing it. And I don't think that I could ever like repay like Beachbody for what it did for me for this, except that I am paying it forward, because I definitely want other people to know and understand these opportunities and what they have done for us and all of us on this call. And that's it. But I'm passionate about it, and I absolutely love it. And I truly, these people on this call are really my friends and family. And I'm going to pass it to Laura now.
Hi. So my name is Laura Riddell. I've been a coach since August of 2014. So I'm actually getting ready to come up on my 6-year anniversary. When I first signed up, I was invited by my cousin into Nicole's challenge group, who you will hear from next. She's actually my upline coach. At that time in my life, I had a 2-year-old son and a 6-year-old daughter. I had tried just about every fad diet, taken every pill you could imagine, any kind of weight loss thing I was in. So if you would have told me to smear mayonnaise on my thighs to prevent the cellulite from coming back, I probably would have gone to the store and bought a jar of mayo the following day. But I joined the challenge group. I really didn't know what I was in for, but I am one of those people, I don't really think things through. I just kind of go with it. So I went with it, and here I was in a challenge group. I was pretty active in the group, and soon enough, Nicole asked me if I would become a coach. Sure. I wasn't like Melanie or Daria, who mentioned that they kind of put it off for a while. Nicole asked me, and I jumped in. I had no idea what I was getting into, though, and no idea the benefit that it would have for my family. But before Beachbody, I was actually in the mental health field for 18 years. I was a director of prevention services, and I was at that time using my master's degree in professional counseling, working with children and families. A lot of times I carried all of that work home. I worked really long days. I had a lot of teams of people in prevention working throughout Allegheny County underneath me. And oftentimes I was bringing home loads of work because during the day I was doing therapy with families. So I was never really present. My kids were with either my parents, their grandparents for the day, or a nanny. And my husband at that time was also working long hours. So my kids really weren't with me. And that was not okay with me. On the weekends, I wanted to be spending a lot of time with them, but I was usually playing catch up on loads of laundry that I had to rewash because it sat in the washing machine for a couple of days. Housework that didn't get done. So I was never really present for them and with them. And that needed a change. So I went to my husband and I said, honey, I'd like to start a business. He's an Excel guy. So I don't know if you guys have husbands that are Excel spreadsheet people, but he's that guy. So he has like every bill in a line and a column and all of that. And like every month, we have to look at this spreadsheet. Yeah, I didn't have time for it. I didn't want time for it. But I now knew that I needed to make time for it because this was an important conversation. So I told him that I wanted to leave my career, that I worked really hard for, but that my need to be present with my kids outweighed the need for me to be in a position that I was in and worry like that. So I made the switch. I started coaching and I realized that I could make an impact on other moms who were kind of balancing through career and motherhood. And, I started to kind of roll with challenge groups myself and things like that. But it wasn't until about 4 years ago that I really understood the true impact that Beachbody can make in my life. And that was at a time that I received a diagnosis after years and years of not understanding what was going on with my body. I realized that I had answers now. I was diagnosed with 2 different autoimmune diseases, spondyloarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. And I was an athlete all growing up through my younger years, all through high school. I played soccer and had a lot of knee surgeries and a lot of issues, but now we had answers. So I had concerning news, right, that I needed to start to have my joints replaced. So in a very short period of time, in about 4 years, I had 7 different surgeries, 3 of which were total, 2 total hip replacements and a total knee replacement. So during that time, as you can imagine, my health was, up and down. I was really able to work out for a period of time and then not at all able because I was going through surgeries and physical rehab. So I really started to see the coaching opportunity as a benefit for my family because time is totally on our side in this business. You can make this business whatever fits into your schedule. I'm a really busy person. Even before Beachbody, I was a really busy person. I have a family business. I have 2 kids. We have 2 dogs. I was busy. I was a soccer trainer, so I had a lot going on. All the while figuring out how to maneuver my life through symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. Autoimmunes are really tricky because they're very unpredictable. And what I found before was that unpredictability was really scary when I worked for someone else, because I then had to answer to somebody about time that I needed off, sick time, time for surgeries, whatever it was. My unpredictable health played an impact on my ability to perform at work, and as a result, my income, right? So that needed to kind of change. I couldn't settle for that. I couldn't sit in that worry. And that's when Beachbody really started to become a benefit to our family, when I could figure out ways to plug Beachbody into my life. There are some days when I'm 100% on top of my game. I wake up early, I work out, I feel great, I do my thing, I'm on point with my mom duties, and I'm really making things happen. But on the flip side, there are other days where I am down for the count. Chronic fatigue sets in. I might have joint swelling where my hands are so swollen in the morning that I can't even brush my daughter's hair. So I kind of flop between symptoms, and they go in and out, and that is really scary. So the way that I can work my business through that busy time and through that unpredictable space that I have is by pre-planning everything. I've become a master at block scheduling, and I've been really diligent in planning my time. And that is something that at the beginning you could go back and scroll, I was not good at all. It was something that I had to learn how to do. through a lot of trainings and a lot of practice. But now, like, all of my content is planned out ahead of time for the month of May. So now if there's a day where my inflammation creeps in and I'm really sick, I don't have to worry about my business or my income because I'm kind of on autopilot, right? That is working itself for me. And I can check back in at a time when I feel better. So there's things that I plan ahead of time, things like sitting on my dad's porch, having a cup of coffee once a week. I wanted to be present for things that were important at school for my kids. I know we're in a different time now, but back when they were in school, I was the homeroom mom. I was the one going on field trips. I loved doing things with science fair projects, and I wanted to be the face that they saw in the nurse's office. If they were sick, the first one to greet them in the nurse's office. Things like that was really, really important to me. So I create all of my time now in my business around things that matter most to me. And I carve out that time ahead of time. So in my schedule, I plan out things that are important. If it's my daughter's soccer practice, because I love taking her to practice. Some of my best conversations with my daughter have been in the car on my way to practice. It's one-on-one time with a 12-year-old. She doesn't have anywhere to go, right? But so I plan out things that are my top priorities, because I know that if those are met, then my tank is full and I can better support other people and better help other people. Throughout these last 4 years, I have gotten a lot better at letting women into my life. Before this opportunity, I was pretty closed off. I'm pretty direct. I'm to the point. I'm pretty hard on the outside. And that comes from a lot of inside stuff. So for me, making friends and finding that community was really hard. But for the last several years, 3-4 years, I've kind of gathered this group of women who understand that I'm not going to show up 100% every single day, but I'm going to show up. And they've understood that. They understand where I am with my own personal health. And it resonates with a lot of people. They understand, they don't expect the highlight reel every single day. There's days where I talk about how I'm feeling and kind of where I am in my own personal health. And sometimes that's really frustrating. But people in this community, Beachbody community, have totally supported me through the highs, the lows, the physical therapy after my surgeries, or sending me cards, whatever, or they call me out. If I don't show up for a call or for a training or for something and I get quiet, then they call me out on my junk too. So that's really cool that I've actually been able to let people in. It wasn't until this past year that I actually went to a social event after a training opportunity with a group of coaches. So I've come a long way, certainly, but community has made a huge difference for me. And just knowing that no matter what, I am being taken care of with Beachbody, right? Income looks different for everybody, but for me, it's really important for me to stay on point with my health and my fitness, taking care of my body, and having community of challengers or other coaches checking in with me. It just brings me to the table, and it keeps me accountable for my own personal health, when in times past, I probably would have tossed in the towel a long time ago. But that is my story. I'm actually going to pass off to Nicole, who's actually my upline, and she's going to talk to you a little bit more about that income opportunity.
Yay. Hi, guys. Can you hear me? Everybody hear me okay? Yeah? All right. Awesome. So, as Melanie said, my name's Nicole. I'm sorry. I'm just excited currently to be alone without any children asking me for snacks. Can you fail me? Who fails me? Sorry. And I haven't seen anybody else. This is Cocktails and Coaching, right? I have my glass of wine ready. Just excited that I'm getting to be here alone for the time being, because quarantine Nicole, Laura said this earlier. She said, quarantine Laura. Well, quarantine Nicole isn't always very much fun, but now when I get to talk to my people about something that I'm super passionate about, it does really fill my cup. It does, literally and metaphorically. So I started this 8 years ago. I have been doing this since, my first program I started with Melanie and her, I think it was probably, I don't even remember, was it a new year? It's probably New Year, New You, because that's what everybody does for the new year. New Year, New You. It was January 1st. Well, maybe it wasn't the 1st. I don't know what date it was, actually. That's awful. I should know that. Anyways, it was the new year. And I remember very specifically, I was kind of in the same position. I remember watching Melanie losing all of this weight and being like, damn, what's she doing? You know, and then I heard this, like, she's like, oh, I'm doing this Beachbody thing. And I was like, Beachbody? What kind of name is that? And if you ever hear Carl talk about it, you know, he even makes fun of it, like, because it was the 90s when it was created. So anyways, I digress. So I ended up finally saying, okay, I'm going to do this, because I was trying to get dressed to go out New Year's Eve, and I just literally sat down in the bed and started bawling my eyes out because I hated how I looked. I had just gotten married, didn't have any kids yet. So, you know, I had all the time in the world. You know, before you have kids, you have that. You feel like you have that time. And you can make the time a lot easier, right? But so I did my first challenge, and I did P90X, the original P90X, just like Daria. And 90 days in, I had lost 15 pounds, which doesn't seem like a ton in 90 days, in 3 months, 15 pounds, but I lost 15 inches. So I had obviously gained a ton of muscle and really kind of shrunk down. And I, you know, decided, I was like, well, of course, Melanie reached out and she said, you know, you're killing this. You're doing an awesome job. You should do what I do. And I'm pretty sure it didn't take a whole lot of convincing. I don't think it took her much time. I just said, you know, if I got such great results just doing this, and I love the challenge group, it was so much fun. I said, well, yeah, okay. So then I signed up with a challenge pack, which I will get to this part as well. I signed up with a challenge pack, and my coaching fee was waived. So I was in it, and it was actually on my husband's birthday. So April 24th was my 8-year. That seems crazy to think that it was 8 years. And I looked at him, we were laying in bed before we went to bed, and I said, hey, just so you know, I'm going to sign up as a coach. And he's like, what? And I was like, you know that thing Melanie does? I'm going to do that too. And he was like, okay. And that was that. So I signed up, and I really just kind of wanted to do it. I just kind of wanted to share a little bit, maybe get, you know, and get the discount, because that's also something I'll talk about shortly. Get the discount. And I just kind of thought, well, maybe if I could share it with a couple of people, that'd be awesome. So started coaching. 1 month in, I said, you know what? There's an opportunity here. I think I really can make a little bit of extra cash with this. At the time, I was driving a 10-year-old car, knew we were going to be starting a family within the next year. So I don't know if you guys know anything about cars, but I had a 2000 Dodge Avenger. It was like a skateboard on wheels. So it was like 2 doors, set really low. I'm like, that's not going to hold car seats. So we were in the market looking for a car, but we had no money. We had no extra money. There was no money to be had. There was no like rebudgeting. There was just none. So I said, well, maybe I can just make enough money to pay a car payment. So Melanie was like, yeah, you can totally do that. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like a lot, but okay, I'll give it a shot. So, you know, that's kind of where I started and my goals and setting my goals. And as the years have gone on, obviously my goal is no longer just to make a car payment. You know, I'm hoping to continue creating a life for myself. As the years went on, my life changed quite a bit. At the time when I first started, I was a wedding planner, which everybody says, oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun. And it was, until I started to hate people because I didn't like the way they treated me. Number one, whenever I was spending all of my time and 16-hour days on Saturday to make a day perfect for them, but then I would just turn around and kind of get pooped on, you know? And that just didn't feel like that did not bring me joy anymore. I used to love it. I loved what I did. But it just kind of started to fizzle for me. But as I said, 16-hour days are long days. And when you have, I had just had my son and was realizing that I just didn't have the time I wanted to have with my family. So let's see, I had my son in 2013. In beginning of 2014, my dad was diagnosed with liver cancer. And long story short, we had a very up and down history. We didn't speak for many years, but at the time we were speaking, and he was diagnosed in February and passed away in December. It was really devastating for me, more so because I had so many regrets. Obviously, I'm sad that, I lost my dad. That goes without saying. But being that I had lost so much time with him, and to be totally honest with you, I was so exhausted all of the time that I did not make the effort to spend the time that I should have with him. So when he passed away, it really kind of hit me that this is not the life I wanted. This is not the family life that I wanted. I missed out on a lot. And there's no reason when I had this, what I always refer to as a golden egg opportunity sitting literally in my lap that I was doing at that time, there was no reason why I couldn't turn this into something that would allow me the freedom. So it allowed me then to quit my full-time job, and now I get to spend time with my family. I get to be home. I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom until I was a mom. And then I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. I really don't want to give my babies up every day. So I have a 7-year-old and a 7-month-old, and which is also why the wine is helpful, because having them both so far apart in age during this time, trying to homeschool and rock a baby at the same time without yelling and waking the baby up is really difficult. So I will say this, all of us have talked about how this has changed our life income wise. So, we have to insert that income disclaimer, right? Basically, in a nutshell, Beachbody wants us to tell you that we don't get this by just showing up and posting something and they don't just give us money, right? We actually have to work for this, and we have all worked very hard. Every single person that you see that has been speaking and that speaks on other calls, we all work very hard for what we have and the freedom that we've been given. So let me break it down to you. Now here's the good stuff, right? I'm gonna just bullet out some points for you so you kind of know how we make our money, okay? Yeah, you guys ready? All right. So, all right. So number one, we make commission, right? So we make commission on everything that we sell. There's 25% on most of our products. On some products, we do get a flat amount, which is the challenge packs. We've all referred to the challenge packs. There's completion packs, challenge packs, all of this fun stuff. So we do make a commission on those things. Another bonus that I mentioned before is that we have a 25% discount. So even if you say, you know what, I don't know if I want to go full in on this, sign up for the discount. It's 25% off. Why not, right? And you can sign up for free when you buy a challenge pack. I'm going to talk about that just in a second. I'm jumping ahead here. All right. And then another point that is, it's a little bit more involved, so I won't go into super depth with it. As you start to build a team, as you start to bring coaches into your team and grow your team, you do start to make a thing called a cycle bonus. And that's just based on your team's performance. So you get a percentage, not of their money, but of the company's money that is given to you for that. Plus, you also can receive a quarterly bonus for rank advancements and things like that. So there's a lot of bonus potential available to you. And not only that, so of course we're talking money, right? We talk money. And that's kind of the stuff that we've all said has really changed our lives because we've been able to do things and it's given us freedom. But not only that, we earn trips, we earn retreats, we go to summit, there are conferences for leaders, and all of that stuff. To me, I don't know about you guys, I love the beach. I would sign me up. I want to go to the beach now, really bad right now. But I want to go to the beach a lot, right? And this is so nice. The Beachbody gives us the opportunity to earn towards a trip where we get to go and spend time with all of these people that we look through a computer and see most days, but who have become some of our best friends, which to me is also a really big earning thing, right? I've gained some of my best friends through this opportunity. Yes, Steph, the beach is my happy place too. I love it. All right. So, so again, I mean, I think that I've covered it, and you guys can certainly correct me if I'm wrong, if I missed something. But I think that's in a nutshell, kind of how we earn our income. And again, I just have to say that I'm so incredibly lucky that I have been able to have this opportunity come into my life, because whether I was going full bore in this business, just going crazy with it, or maybe I slacked off a month or 2 or 3, or more, you know, whatever, 8 years, it's a journey too. You know, it's always been there for me, and and the people have always been there for me. And I think really that's something that has been important. So I think that's everything. I wrote notes, but you know, I ramble. I'm sorry. So I'll pass it back.
So good. You did good. You didn't ramble at all. You were awesome. You're awesome. And I'm sure you're like, let me ramble if I can stay in this space and not have to go back out there. I get it. I'm avoiding bedtime tonight like a boss. You guys, I hope that you have enjoyed listening to the stories. And this is really your time to ask questions in the comments. But the one thing that I do want to say is that, and before I kind of talk you through like next steps and what to do, is I remember the hesitation that I had in signing up as a coach. Like, I remember thinking to myself, like, can I really do this? Can I really be successful at this? Is anybody going to want to join me? Who am I? I'm just some small town girl from Mars, Pennsylvania that, you know, doesn't have a background in nutrition. I don't have a certification. I don't have any fitness certifications. I have never even really posted on social media before, but I will say that I saw the potential. And the first book that I read was The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. I encourage you guys to buy that book, get it on Amazon, add it to your cart, get that book and read it. Because when I took that leap of faith and I said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And I'm just going to put myself out there. I believe in the products. I believe in the company. It worked for me. And if it worked for me, I know there has got to be other moms out there that feel the same way, that are looking for support, that are looking for community, that have tried everything and nothing is working. And so I looked at this start of my business as a selfless thing. Like, I am going to come in and I'm going to help another person. I am going to share my journey. I'm going to give recipes. I'm going to talk about how I'm getting up in the morning and doing my workouts, how I'm fighting off sort of those sleepless nights with 2 little babies. And so for me, I kind of went at it as, this is my platform, my Facebook, my Instagram account. This is my classroom, and my classroom is virtual. And I'm sure you all can relate to that, because right now we're all doing e-learning at this point. But I just really looked at it like, every day I'm going to show up, and it's not the Melanie show, but it's like, how can I teach you to make small changes? How can I inspire you to do something different with your habits? Or if you're frustrated with your weight loss, like, I wanted people to know they didn't have to go at it alone. So there is a huge leap of faith right in there, but you have to understand that success in business isn't about just showing up and posting on social media and being like, you know, here I am starting this business, and it's just like instant success. It truly is about belief, showing up consistently every single day, repeatedly over time, and really showing people that you're here for the long run and that you really want to make a positive impact in their life. And I believe that when you come from that place of, like, coaches that have success are the ones that are coming from a place of serving. They're coming from a place of, like, I genuinely want to help you. I want to connect you to the right thing that's going to help you get results. When you come at this and you're like, I just need to make a sale, I just need to reach a quota, it feels forced. It feels like you're selling something. And none of us like that feeling. I don't like that feeling. And I always use the analogy of, what is that store? Oh, there's a store in the mall called Buckle. I don't know if you know that store, but when you walk into I always say this, it's like flies on shit when you walk into that store. Okay. And when you walk in, they're like, try this on and buy this. And they're pushing things at you. And I always think about that when I'm having conversations, is I never want the person on the other end of the computer screen to feel like I'm pushing my agenda on them. And that is one thing that we truly believe, you know, with Beachbody is that we're here to connect you. And when you're ready, we'll help you get the results that you want. So you do have to take a leap of faith. None of us have ever done anything like this before, but look at the relationships, look at the friendships, look at what is possible. And, you know, one of our cornerstones of what we do is investing in ourselves, listening to podcasts. Fear is My Homeboy is a really great book. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It's got a pink cover. If you struggle with confidence, listen to that. If you struggle with confidence, go download the Rachel Hollis podcast and listen to that. The more you can surround yourself with stories of people that are doing the things you want to do, the more it gives you courage to go out there and take those leaps of faith. But we will trust you. We will never sign you up and be like, go figure it out on your own. We will literally walk you through every single step of the way. So part of becoming a coach is absolutely a leap of faith. It is saying, I don't know how to do it, but I'm confident that I can figure it out. I'm confident that when I partner with my coach, the person that invited me here tonight, that I will have success because we will do this together. That's the way I want you to look at it. So you have to jump out. You just got to take that leap of faith and you have to go for it. So here is the scoop, you guys. If you're listening in tonight and you're like, I want to just start out on my fitness journey because I have no experience with Beachbody whatsoever, we welcome you into our team. You can actually enroll. You can enroll as a coach. You don't have to actually coach anybody. You are allowed to be coached by us. We will add you to your challenge group. We will get you set up with the fitness program, the nutrition plan. We'll mentor you. We'll teach you how to document your journey. And when you are ready, you can actively start inviting people to join you. But you get a 25% discount in the process. So you might as well sign up and get the discount along the way. And if you say to yourself, you know what, I don't ever really want to move out of this discount coach status, you can stay here as long as you want. We're not going to force you to do anything more than what you want to do. But if you say to yourself, I'd like to be able to pay for my product, or I'd like to be able to pay for the groceries or my car payment, right? Then we can help you set goals to reach that. And then you may say to yourself, well, that wasn't so bad. Maybe I'm going to raise it. It's going to be the mortgage, or I'm going to start putting aside money for a vacation. And so one of the things that we do is we're really going to help you customize our mentorship to what you want to accomplish. And I hope that gives you a little bit of peace that we're not going to pressure you. We're not going to, kick you out if you aren't reaching a benchmark or a minimum. Like, we're going to love on you no matter what. We love you where you're at. And we're just happy to have you as a part of our positive community. So reach out to the coach that invited you here. That's step number one. Talk about the best way to get signed up, which is definitely with the challenge pack, because you get that $40 coach sign-up fee waived. If you are on Shakeology Home Direct right now, you can cancel it and you can reorder as the challenge pack or completion pack. They're also on sale this month. So it's $20 off challenge pack. So that's a really awesome deal. And I want to say there's some really good special offers too. Like Energize, I think, is like 10% off, 20% off. I saw that in the special offers when I was looking in the FAQ. So there's all kinds of great things that are happening right now in Beachbody. So once you get signed up, you'll go into our mentorship program. We'll send you a welcome email. We will literally walk with you down the path of, getting your business up and running. And we are going to be there with you to celebrate all the ups and downs, pick you up when you have a bad day, because you will have them, right? And we'll do this together. So guys, if there is any questions at all, this is definitely the time. Oh, good. You guys were dropping the books in there too. Anything else that I missed or that you guys want to add? Major hesitation right now. Yeah, hesitation. So it's kind of like Mel Robbins. And if you've ever heard her book, right? The 5-second rule, you just have to go, I think I'm going to do this. I think I could be really good at this. I'm coachable, and go. You just have to go and you don't look back, because I feel like it's better to try something and say, oh, I loved that. Or to try something and be like, and no, that is not my jam. Than to always look back at your life and go, I wonder if I could have been successful at that Beachbody thing, right? Like, it's better to just go for it and give it 110% and say, I'm going to go all in for a year and I'm going to reflect. Did I like it? am I enjoying myself? Am I doing what fills my cup and makes me wake up every morning and feel on fire? Or, you know, and if not, at least you know you gave it absolutely the best effort possible. All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Any other questions, you guys? Dang, we did good. It is 9 o'clock on the dot. I love it. I love it so much. I feel like even if you have a water cup in your hand, we should do a boomerang and we should cheers, because this is what we do. We take pictures of all the fun stuff, and we always share our community. So let's do that. And then what we'll do is when you sign up as a coach, we will send you a little boomerang congratulations to when you sign up, putting everybody on the spot now. You have to do it, right? Okay, are you ready? Oh, it's on my face. That wasn't pretty at all. All right, are you ready? And 1, 2, 3. Super cute. My glass is empty, but it's adorable. All right, I will tag as many of you as I can in that. You guys have a great night. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks, ladies, for speaking, and I will see you soon. Have a good night, guys.